I know that there is this bold misconception that you can't be addicted to weed. Maybe marijuana, THC, the chemical compound that makes it up, isn't necessarily an addicting substance the way that opiates or heroin or like more addicting substances are, but you can literally be addicted to anything. There is a whole TV show about people who eat mothballs and the lint out of the dryer and they are addicted to those things. Those aren't addicting things that they're addicted to. We see it every day. People are addicted to their phones. You can literally be addicted to anything. And when it comes to weed, of course you can be addicted to weed. You're addicted to the high, you're addicted to the act of smoking, you're addicted to the habit. I know all of this because I was addicted to weed for a very long time. Weed had a chokehold on me and it did not want to let go. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jackie and I help people create a life that looks good on the outside, but more importantly, feels good on the inside. And for a really long time, weed was holding me back from feeling good on the inside. I was in denial. I did not want to believe that I was addicted to weed. It was hard for me to admit that maybe this plant is now harming me, even though it has helped me in the past. I have a friend who is in the cannabis industry in California. He's been doing this forever. It's like his thing. He knows weed. It was pre-COVID, and he said to me, if you really want to find success, you have to stop smoking weed. And I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. Weed has helped me so much. I had an Instagram page called A Successful Stoner because I was in such denial about weed being harmful that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna prove to people that you can be successful and you can be a stoner. And now maybe financially, maybe in business, I was successful. My definition of success now is more about a balance. It's more about a feeling, and I didn't have this feeling while I was smoking weed. I was not a successful stoner as I define success now. He was right. I needed to take some time away from weed, and it wasn't until I took some time away from weed that I realized how harmful and how detrimental weed had become to my mind, my body, and my soul. And mentally, I had become so reliant on smoking weed to feel good. I would use it as an excuse, like I would be feeling an anxious feeling come up and I would smoke weed and I would use it as an excuse like, well, at least I didn't take a Xanax. And now an anxious feeling isn't something that we're meant to escape with a Xanax or with weed or with any other modality. It's something that we're supposed to sit with and dig into and understand why we have it so we can dissipate it forever. That's not what I was doing. On top of that, if I didn't feel good, I was smoking weed, but also if I did feel good, I was smoking weed. If I'm going to the movies, I'm getting high before. I'm going out to dinner, I'm getting high before. I'm going on a road trip, I have smoked up and down I-95 from New York to Miami and back. I was smoking and toking the whole way. There was nothing I didn't do stoned. I did it all stoned. You name it, I did it stoned. Now that I've had some time away from weed, I realize how much better I feel without weed. And don't get me wrong, I still enjoy smoking. I love weed. I love the act of smoking. It is not something that is meant to be used every day. It's not something that's meant to be used habitually. And I know because I was using it habitually and I didn't feel good. Once I stopped smoking every day, I started to feel better in my body. I wouldn't say that I feel lighter. Don't know that that's the word, but I feel less dense. I feel like weed adds to the density in your physical body. If I was high, I feel like it would take more energy to move. My step was heavier when I was high, like it was harder to take a step, I guess. It makes sense why you become like kind of like a couch potato if you're a pothead and like you're just always there because it's just easier not to move if you're stoned all the time. I also started to realize how much more clear I am in my mind off of weed. I was really foggy on weed. I used to be someone who would smoke all day, every day. I kicked that habit in like 2015, 2016, but 2017, 18, 19, 20, I would smoke every night. Once the sun went down, I was getting high. I was sparking up. It wasn't until I wasn't going to bed high that I realized I actually sleep better sober than I do stoned. I also wake up better if I didn't smoke the night before. If I smoke the night before, it takes me forever to get out of bed the next morning. I'm like groggy. I can roll over and go back to sleep for another few hours. But if I don't smoke, I wake up, I have a pep in my step, I'm ready to go. And at the end of the day, being ready to go is something that comes naturally to me. I'm not here to just bash weed. I still think that there's a time and a place. I really believe that weed is a great tool to pull you up when you're down. Not in an escapism manner, but if you are so down in a reality, like you are just so lost in like mental loops, I think that weed is a great tool to help pull you out of it and to help you kind of like raise your vibration in that way. But ultimately, I believe that if your vibration is already high and you're starting to use weed every day, all it's going to do is bring you down. I think that you really have to have a fine balance with weed if you want to be able to use it. Now, when you're using weed every single day with no purpose outside of just getting high, it's going to be detrimental to you the way that it was detrimental to me. I'm not saying that weed is purposeless, but I'm saying that weed without a purpose is purposeless. If you're using weed just to smoke weed for no reason, or you're using weed to escape feelings that you should be sitting with, maybe it's time to reevaluate your use of the weed. If you're using weed intentionally, you have a reason behind it, you're not abusing it the way that I had abused it in the past, it can be a great tool. You really have to be aware of the fine line that exists with weed and how to walk it properly. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. My name is Jackie and I help people create lives that look good on the outside, but more importantly, feel good on the inside. I make new videos every Monday and Friday, so don't forget to click subscribe, and I will see you at the end of the week.